Hey, it's Chris Robley from CD Baby. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Hello to the CD Baby community. If you're out there watching, say hey. Let me know who you are and where you're watching from. And definitely, we're going to be kind of going through a quick checklist of to-do items in this conversation. But if you have your own tips to add or questions about anything we're talking about, please leave a comment. That's why we're here. We want you to be part of this conversation, which also includes someone I will bring in here. Let's see if I can do that. There you are. Hey,
Hey,
Mike Warner. Um, you're back from Australia.
yes, I made it back. I
That's excellent.
survived.
I was very jealous as I saw, I don't know if it was Instagram or Facebook pictures of you down there because at the same time it was snowing in Maine where I am. So I don't imagine you had snow down there.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's summer in Australia as well, so that would be
Oh, doubly.
beyond
Yeah.
beyond weird. Absolutely.
So you've been on here on Facebook Live with us once before, but for anyone who didn't see that, maybe can you take like a minute and introduce yourself and tell everyone about the 20 different things you do in the music industry?
Yeah, sure. I'll try and keep it to under a minute.
Cool.
But the short version is DJ 15 years, producer 10 years, curator for 5 years, independent curator, I should say. Independent artist, self-releasing music, created a playlist brand, started helping other independent artists by adding them to my playlists, wrote a book about it, and just been getting out and trying to help as many artists as I can, educate them on best practices, ways to get their music heard by more people, ways to keep their fans.
Cool. All right. So as part of that, today we're going to be talking about 20 quick things you should do for your music before the end of the year. And it's like coming up on the holiday season where a lot of us find ourselves with a half hour or a couple hours to spare while Uncle Joe is sleeping off his eggnog hangover or something. Uh, so also, if you're like me, you're the type of person that unless you have a checklist or clear instructions, you're more bound to just pick up the guitar or your laptop and start making music, which is fine. You obviously need to do that at some point, but I tend to push the more administrative aspects of the music career to the side unless I have a clear plan. So that's what hopefully we're going to give you today. 20 quick things that you should do before the end of the year to get your music ready for next year. And quick should be in quotes, I guess, because we're all going to define that differently. But I think when Mike and I were coming up with our list of things, it was, something that takes between a minute and maybe an hour or two at most, not like a big campaign, not a huge project. So, yeah, do you want to start us off with number one?
Yeah, sure. I got to be honest, I haven't numbered these, so if I repeat
I
myself,
didn't either, but
feel free to cut me off. But yeah, first up, you know, pimp your profiles. So, Apple Music for artists, Spotify for artists, you've got a profile on these streaming services. At the very least, get a photo on there, get a bio on there, even if it's two sentences about yourself. It's better than a blank bio. It shows that you've at least gone there and put the time and the effort in to put some information about yourself. The other thing you can do with these profiles is, for some of them, you can tag your social media. So if people discover you through Spotify, for example, they can then click across to your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Wikipedia, and they may follow you there as well. So, make it easy for people to find you, follow you, and continue following you.
do you think it's true as someone who curates playlists, if you're into someone's music and you go to their Spotify profile and it's not kind of they haven't done anything to customize it, are you less likely to place their music on your playlist?
Good music is good music to me, but what I will do, because I know how it looks to other people and how it's perceived, I will still support that artist, but I will also reach out to them and say, hey, I'm happy to support your music. It's great, but your profile, here's what you should do. Invest 10 minutes in your time in doing that, and you'll be amazed at the results where how people are going to be more receptive to you, just by simply seeing that you've put in that little bit of time and care to, at least get something on your profile.
Yeah, it's very charitable of you. Hey, you should give a crap. um, well, that kind of leads into one of the things I had on my list, which is to integrate your concert calendar with both Spotify and Pandora, and perhaps there are other digital platforms that allow an easy integration of that. But yeah, one of the things for Pandora, there's an Eventbrite integration which pairs up with Songkick, which Songkick also provides data to Spotify. So if you're on an artist profile, there's a little tab which says concerts, which will show you the concert calendar for that artist, which is cool and helpful. So you should obviously do that. But I think the real benefit as a user of Spotify, I might not be on your profile and proactively looking for your concert dates, but what I do sometimes is check the concerts in my area, and you can do this right within Spotify. It'll give you, I don't know what the radius is exactly, you might know, but driving distance from me, all the artists I've been listening to on Spotify, it'll have their concert information if they're playing in my area. So, if they're looking up, they see Father John Misty or something, and then right below is you. Cool. If they've listened to your music on Spotify, they might be inclined to buy a ticket. So take care of that. Integrate your concert calendar.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to add to that with my next point as well. So, we've touching on Spotify again. Go to Spotify for Artists and upload a few images of yourself, actual photos of you, the person, the artist, not a logo or anything like that. And the reason I say that is if you upload those images to Spotify for Artists, you have followers and you happen to be playing in that city. Sometimes Spotify send emails out saying, Chris Robley is playing in your city. Here's a link to the tickets. Here's a link to open up and listen to music from Chris in Spotify. And the only way Spotify can do that is if you upload images in Spotify for Artists, which essentially gives them permission, and it gives them a image that they can use in that email blast to reach your followers. So it's basically free promotion potentially for just uploading an image into Spotify for Artists.
Yeah, and how many photos can you upload total?
You know what? There used to be a limit. I believe the limit was 5, but I've seen it anywhere up to 100 now. So
oh damn, yeah. So they want content.
Just upload every photo they've ever taken, and you know what? If somebody wants to go and look at them all, why not? Just put your best ones first.
I'm going to interrupt our flow here to say Matt Burke, he's hoping that tip number 20 for this holiday season is to grow a sweet stash. I'm going to assume that this is the sweet stash you're talking about. If so, thank you. If not, I'm sorry. I went to the Bohemian Rhapsody movie and walked away thinking I needed a stash. So, and then I did that and realized it was also, what do they call it? Movember. Growing a mustache November. So now it's still lasted half a month into December, but yeah, so that's tip number 20, grow a sweet stash.
Nice. I feel like there was a joke in there and I kind of lost it towards the end, but I'm pretty sure it was about people going into that movie carrying a sweet stash. And then I realized that we're talking about two different things.
Right. Let's see. You said something about on the Spotify topic. On the Spotify topic, I've been getting a ton of questions lately from people who don't have any music on the platform yet, and they want to do like pre-saves or follow campaigns and all this stuff, and they hit this wall, which is that they can't get their Spotify for Artists account, can't get access to that backend stuff until there's music on the platform. So that would be another suggestion, is to prepare something, even if it's just a kind of a quick single to get out there to plant your flag and stake your claim on that property so you can start getting active in there. And then the other thing is that CD Baby makes it super easy to become very easy already, but it's an instant verification if you go through your CD Baby dashboard to claim that Spotify for Artists account. So we can post a link in the feed to take care of that. But let's see, is it my turn or your turn? Oh yeah, my turn. I was gonna say, another thing you could do this holiday season is think about adding a merch item to your store that uses print on demand. So if you're thinking about finding a t-shirt screen printer or someone that's going to manufacture a bunch of items for you, it's probably not going to happen quick. But if you already have a design on file and you can use a print on demand service to do a different color t-shirt. Or for me, I did a mug, and it actually ended up being like my biggest seller for when I was running Black Friday sales. It was a design I had from a t-shirt, and I just flew it into this print on demand system. I used a company called Printful. There are a bunch of others you can, compare and contrast, but basically it's no upfront cost to me. I only have to pay, a small manufacturing fee out of whatever someone pays to buy the merch. So it's something I can do quick without any upfront investment. I already had the design. So look into that. And then I think also, like, for me, it was a mug. It's kind of random, but it was fun for people who may have already purchased my CDs, and I'm not going to sell them two or three more copies of the same album, but they, need to drink their hot toddies in the winter. So, or whatever you drink in Australia in the summer. So yeah, think about that. If there's not a ton of, well, I should say it wasn't a ton of work with Printful. I think because I had the file, probably took me 10 minutes to set up this merch item and add it to my store. So yeah, look into that.
Awesome. I believe it's my turn.
It is. What's up?
I'm taking it. So my next one is make it easy for people to find you everywhere. So for me, as a curator, when I'm wearing my curator hat, somebody sends me a song, I really like it. Number one, obviously, I go to look at their bio and find out a little more about them. But I want to click and see how they're doing on social media. Or I want to see more of what they're about. And what they're working on and what they're doing. And what I'm finding with a lot of artists is if I go to, let's say I go to their Facebook page and I go to about, there's no website there, there's no links to any other social media, so there's nowhere else that I can find them. And then I have to go to Google and search for them to maybe find their SoundCloud, their YouTube, their Instagram. So my suggestion is, wherever possible, make sure that everything links to everything. So if I find you on Instagram, I can find you everywhere else. And, that could be you have a website where you host all of those links. Direct people there so they know that if they go to your website, they can find you on all social media, all streaming services. Because that's one thing that does take a lot of time for me. I want to follow you on Instagram if I love your music. I want to follow you on Twitter. I want to show my support and I want to see what you're doing, because if you release another track, that may be how I find out. So make it easy for me to find you everywhere and for everyone else.
Yeah, and I know in YouTube you can add as a kind of channel default channel setting, like boilerplate text that gets added to every single video you post, and then you can edit it if you don't want that there when you're uploading a new video and about to publish it. But part of that little boilerplate text could be the link to your website, all your social platforms, any kind of consistent call to actions you have, like subscribing to an email list or whatever. So just like take the work out of it and put that in as the default, and then you don't have to worry about it every time you're posting a new piece of content on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I'll go to my next item, which is that there's a pretty easy way to make a URL link that will open up your YouTube channel and automatically bring up the subscribe button. So it's basically a one-click way to grow your following on YouTube, and we have an article about that. It's really easy to do. It's sort of this unwieldy string of code that you add to the end of your channel URL. But then what you can do is put that into Bitly or some kind of custom URL shortener, and throw that into your email signature or any of those things you were talking about on Instagram or anywhere you'd be sharing links. So yeah, why miss an opportunity to get that subscriber when you're already sending people to YouTube? So yeah, we'll post the how-to in our feed here.
Cool.
What you got?
Back on me now.
Yeah.
So my next one, I know you're going to touch on this a little more, so I'm going to keep this very simple. But create a mailing list if you don't have one already. It's better to start now than not ever start. And the reason you have a mailing list is you have these fans, you have a way that you're potentially always going to reach them. If somebody follows you on Facebook, that's great. But what happens if something happens to Facebook, or there's no way of actually reaching them in the future? Email, you always have a way that you can reach them and communicate with them and reach out to them whenever you would like. You own them yourself. I like to think of it as having people's phone numbers, basically. That phone number goes with them wherever they go. So you're always going to be able to reach them. So set up a mailing list. There's many services out there you can use to do that. There's many ways you can capture those emails with free download gates, for example. But I know Chris is going to touch on this in more detail in one of his points as well. If not, I'll come back at the end.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of something. There's a podcast I listen to called Creative Juice, and one of the co-hosts, Corinne, I believe it was one of the episodes that happened in the last month or so, because they've been talking about email marketing. But from her viewpoint, email isn't this sort of like, I don't know what you'd call it, like a fail-safe in case Facebook goes the way of MySpace or something like that. Like for her, it's like, okay, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, these things are probably very solid. They're going to be with us for a long time. It's just that email is a very different mode of communication, which is kind of self-selecting. If you've got their email, they probably have a higher level of interest in your music. So you know right from the start that the way you communicate with your email list is to people predisposed to being, like I said, self-selecting and more interested, which makes them more likely customers of merch sales and things like that. And then along with just having an email list like you're suggesting, use it. I know musicians get really, really squeamish about seeming like markety and sending out weekly emails or whatever it is every other week. But it doesn't all have to be salesy. Like I think it's total. Some of the emails I send out that perform the best for my own music have nothing to do with any call to action at all. It's like, hey, this thing happened to me. It's just a story. I don't want anything from you. Just like, here's what's happening in my life. And I know that over the past, I'd say 6 months, when I started being less ashamed of using my email list, let's say, like I created a welcome stream and just been putting a lot more care into actually using it. I've seen way more returns in terms of merch sales and CD sales, but also just responses and hearing from people who I thought had kind of fallen off the map a little bit with my music. And now they're responding and telling me the nice things we want to hear as musicians, where we can kind of pat ourselves on the back and coast for another week on those good feelings. But so use your email list. Don't be afraid to send one every week. And yeah, definitely don't be afraid to send sales as well, because these are the people who want to hear about a new merch deal or a new t-shirt item or any of that stuff. And then I'll jump to one of the items I wanted to mention on my list, which involves email, which is, so you've got your email list and you're using your email list, but it's really almost just as important to do what's called list hygiene. And I started thinking about this more over the past month, listening to the Creative Juice podcast, where they had a whole episode dedicated to this. But basically, it's the idea that if you have people on your list who aren't opening your emails, they're not clicking, they're not responding, and they do that for long enough, they're pretty much worthless to you. And in fact, they're worse than worthless. They're dragging your email performance down. So you want to perform list hygiene and get rid of those people from your email list. You can save all those contacts and, use it for retargeting later if you have a new CD next year or whatever, and you want to hit them up on Facebook or whatever, but get them off your list. And the reason to do that is because the lower your open rates, the fewer people that are opening your email, the fewer people that are clicking, it sends these signals to Gmail and Hotmail and all these things. It's kind of a complicated process, but the simple version is the less people are engaging with your email, the less people will see your emails, which just becomes this self-perpetuating cycle where suddenly less and less people are seeing, so less people engage, blah, blah, blah. So if you suddenly dump everyone who's not engaged, you will see probably some dramatic improvements in your open rates, because now it's sending to this smaller group of people who are proving to be more engaged. So you get upgraded in MailChimp or whoever is doing your email service for you. And all that to say, before you just kick them off your list, you should give them the chance to get active again. So you can do what's called a re-engagement series, and that would just be 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 emails that you send automated to this group and say like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. What's up? Are you not getting these? Do you not care? Do you hate me? Do I smell? Any of these things. Do you hate my new mustache? Do you hate the fact that I keep talking about Donald Trump, which would be the case in my musical life? So you kind of ask them what the deal is and if they want to come back into the fold. And if so, great, they stay on your list. If they don't open that email, then they're in line to automatically receive your next one. And that can be, hey, I've got a discount code for you. Why don't you get 25% off my CDs or anything that shows you you want to get them engaged, you want to keep them. But after enough of these, after they don't open them, they just automatically get wiped from the list. So I would say perform some email hygiene. And I set up a re-engagement series for myself last week. It took me 20, 30 minutes in MailChimp. And they will give you stats on who to clean from your list. There's star ratings. You could also do, anyone who hasn't opened the last 5 emails or last 10 emails, you set the kind of parameters for cleaning them. So yeah, do some list hygiene. It's my long-winded email tip. But
Nice.
Now I'll put you on the spot now. What's next?
I'm not on the spot. I'm ready. I've been ready for about 10 minutes now. No, I'm just kidding, man. Look, use this time to make a playlist. Every artist should have a playlist of all of their original material, anything they've worked on, because that's another way that people can follow you. It's one thing to follow your profile, but to follow a playlist that you add all of your new music into, that's another way to capture them and potentially have them play your catalog. And more importantly, listen to your back catalog in the order that you intended for them to. So you could put your strongest song up the top, or you could take them on a little bit of a journey if you feel as though it's they're going to listen from start to finish. I've seen some people treat their playlist as an album in the making. So as they release songs throughout the year, they start putting them into that playlist and ordering them. And then by the time they've got enough material for an album, they've already tested it in that playlist and got feedback from their fans and realized, this is the order of the album. If you're looking for other playlists that you can make, another one that you can make is make a playlist of your favorite songs of the year. Songs that inspired you, songs that have a similar sound to what you're creating, similar vibe. As long as you are happy putting your music in amongst those songs as well, because if people follow that, they're going to start assuming that that's what you're about as well. So don't make a gangster rap playlist if you're releasing alternative indie music, because people might get a little confused. So keep it relevant, but yeah, don't be afraid to take some risks and put some fun tracks in there that may be a little bit different as well. It lets people know a little bit more about you, and that you're not just focusing on one specific genre. You're a lover of all music. The other thing is, if you do make a playlist of your favorite songs of the year, share it on social media and tag those artists that are in it and let them know, because otherwise they'll never know. And they may potentially share it with their fans as well. That, whether it's a retweet on Twitter or whether they actually go and write a post about it and direct people to that playlist. Either way, it's worth letting them know that they're in there. And they're also going to take notice of you as well.
Yeah, one of the cool things I like about managing a playlist like that's sort of related to your genre of music and your favorite songs and artists from that genre. Like for me, I have been, slowly adding things to it as I fall in love with new songs. And it's not something I'm like super active about, but since I'm doing it anyways as a fan of music, over time, I pick up a couple followers here, a couple followers there, and now, this playlist has 150 followers, which for me, I feel like is really good for something that's not like a real focus of mine. It's just sort of slowly happening, but I think that's pretty exciting. And then obviously I put a few of my songs in amongst all these other tracks that are representative of at least the things that I'm into. So I like those ideas. My next item to pick up on, you'd mentioned doing a best of 2018 playlist or something like that. Another sort of end of year thing you can do is just record a thank you video. It could be you playing a song. It could just be you talking to your phone for 30 seconds. And there's a lot of different ways to approach it, but basically thank the people who are listening to your music. There's endless amounts of things they could be doing with their time. And if they've paid any attention to you, they should be, I think they should be appreciated. So you can record a video. It doesn't need to be super pro or polished. I think sometimes on social media, the more informal, the better. So yeah, thank your fans, and then do a campaign on Instagram or Facebook where you're, setting it up so it reaches all your followers, if you can afford that sort of thing. And I think they'll appreciate that you're doing something that doesn't really ask anything of them besides spending 10 seconds being thanked, which can go a long way.
All right.
Yeah. What you got?
I have get ready for tax time.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm not going to get too into this, but I'm going to admit I'm terrible when it comes to tax time. I basically, it's like a assignment that's due the next morning. I start the night before. And
that makes two of us. I do the exact same thing.
So if you're not releasing, if you're not going to be working on music or releasing music, or you've just got a few hours spare, sit down and grab all your receipts, go into all your accounts. If you're working from home, you might be able to claim things like electricity, gas, internet, etc., your phone. Start getting all that together, downloading those invoices, putting it together so that you have a bunch of stuff that you can claim. If you purchase new equipment this year, a new microphone, new guitar, go and dig up that receipt. And I'm sure that if you purchased it from store X, you can go back there and get that receipt reprinted as well. If you're paying for CD Baby, which you should be, go and get a receipt as well. Claim that on your tax. It's a business expense. So get ready, get it all together now, because come January, everyone else is going to be doing that and freaking out. And
I think you mean come April 14th.
Yeah, that's very true. But, in saying that, you can potentially get some money back as well. So if after Christmas you've splurged and you've purchased some new equipment, you may want to go and get your taxes done early.
Yeah, we actually did a Facebook Live earlier this year with a tax expert. So if you want to go back and watch that, check it out. I forget what the episode's called, but it's basically like, what can I write off as a musician? Google it, you'll find it. Go to the DIY Musician blog. And it's about an hour-long conversation where we go into all those different things. What's a legitimate expense, whether you should be claiming yourself as an LLC or any of that stuff. Yeah, check that out. And yeah, I am the worst at that. I put all my receipts in this big box. So by the end of the year, it's just like this mush of crumpled up papers. And then literally that last minute possible, I'm unfolding them and doing all that. So that's a good tip, to be responsible. Yeah. Lance Allen says, nice stash. Thank you. I'm sure you have a nice beard, although I can't see it right now. Parker and Barrow Entertainment wanted to know playlist on Spotify or YouTube, which reminded me of something I learned from you, actually. Those services where you can create the playlist that then populates all of the above: YouTube, Spotify, Deezer. Do you want to mention any of those? Are those still recommended?
100%. I've just, you know what? Let me get back to that. I've actually, because I've set it on autopilot, I've actually just had a blank and forgotten the name, which is a compliment to the service, because once it sets up, it just automatically syncs. But
sounds good.
.co.
Yeah. That's who
if anyone from Sounds Good is watching, I apologize. I haven't had my morning coffee. Soundsgood.co is what I use. Can I go into the process?
Totally. Yeah. I was just going to say, in your book, I know you recommend, or you list a few, and that was the one I ended up going with as well, because it seemed like you were sort of leaning in their direction.
All right. Let me redeem myself here before Sounds Good delete my account. So soundsgood.co, the way it works is you have a master playlist. You can create one in there if you're not on any streaming services yet, or if you are, then you can go and log in with those services. So Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Qobuz, Napster, Deezer, pretty much. I think it's about 8 or 9 streaming services now that you can sync to. And the way it works for me personally is I have my playlists in Spotify that I've had for years, and they are treated as the master playlist. And then in soundsgood.co, I load the playlist in initially, and then I choose where I want to sync them to. So I also had an Apple Music account, so I went in there and put in the details of the playlist where I would like it to appear in my account. Once it's all done, you can set it to auto sync, and twice a day it will automatically synchronize your master playlist, in my case from Spotify, to every other streaming service on there. And it does it twice a day. And the cool part is, if I remove a song, if I move a song from position 1 to position 10, if I add 5 new songs, it copies the exact order, and any songs that I've removed disappear as well. So it's a perfect sync between all of them. And it saves me so much time, because before that, I used to literally have multiple tabs open in my web browser for YouTube, Deezer, Apple, Spotify, and it would be a full day just to make sure the playlist was updated across all of those services.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool on YouTube. You know, you can post a playlist to your channel page or whatever they call it. You know, you sort of have these sections on your channel landing page, and this playlist that you're managing elsewhere can be part of that, and it flies in the videos if they're available too. So it's not just art tracks necessarily on YouTube. So thanks for that tip. It was like a big time saver for me as well.
Yeah, and just adding on that, so the reason I forgot the name Sounds Good is because of the auto sync feature. So I haven't created a new playlist in some time, so I haven't logged in to add that. So their auto sync just keeps working away. I don't need to log in and maintain it or anything like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So my next tip that I was going to talk about is to create and play around with a show.co promotion campaign if you have not yet. If you're a CD Baby artist, you get to use show.co for free. And what it is, for those who don't know, it's a suite of online marketing tools. And they were used by a lot of major labels, a lot of major label artists, and CD Baby acquired the company a couple years ago. And you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with it. You can build your YouTube following. You can boost views on YouTube. You can increase your Spotify following, do a Spotify pre-save. There's, 12 to 15 different sort of campaign goals you can set. But one that I think if you don't have new music on the horizon, one that might be worth trying is called a stream to unlock. And that's basically someone has to listen to your music for 30 seconds on Spotify before they can unlock whatever's next in your little campaign, some kind of reward. Maybe it's a private SoundCloud track or some unlisted YouTube video or something like that. And so you're boosting your streams in order to, while also giving some extra bonus content to your fans. You could also do one that asks for people to follow you on Spotify and also unlock that same reward. And if Spotify is your main kind of area of focus while you're doing one of these campaigns, you can also have an email capture form. So if your fans aren't on Spotify, you're not alienating them. You can still get some benefit from it. But yeah, if you're CD Baby artist, just go into your CD Baby dashboard and you'll see a link to show.co. You can create your campaign there. Be sure to do it that way, because if you go directly to show.co, you'll be asked to pay because it's there's premium levels of the service. And as a CD Baby user, you get 2 campaigns live at any time. So you could even do 2 similar kinds of campaigns and test them against each other, and then sort of leave running whichever one outperforms the other. So yeah, go to show.co, play around and have fun. If you have good images, you can create a really good looking campaign in a matter of minutes. Even if you don't have good images to use, you can still do flat color backgrounds or add blur to any image that you might have. So yeah, it's pretty intuitive to use. Check it out. And I will bring you back in here so we can go to whatever you've got next. There we are.
We're back. All right.
You're still a little adrift.
Yeah, it's just drifting away slowly. No, I'm back. Yeah, my next one was Chris actually suggested I include this. It's a attention-grabbing idea on social media. So in this case, Facebook. So if you have a new-ish iPhone and you have the portrait mode feature where it basically blurs the background, puts the focus on the subject up front, whether it's a person, your dog, a beer, whatever. If you take a photo in portrait mode and then you go to Facebook, you have the option to upload it as a 3-dimensional image. So what happens is, as people scroll up and down the feed, the picture does some really funky stuff. So I did this just as a test, just to see if it would actually get people's attention. And I'll be honest, the image I took was me sitting at a bar, and it was taken at a weird angle. And as the image changed, my ear kind of pulled out and did this really spooky thing.
Trippy.
But I left it in there because I went, you know what? Even if people aren't impressed by a picture of me drinking a beer for some reason, it might get their attention because I messed it up. And surely it did. A lot of people commented and said, I don't know what's going on with your ear, but I can't stop looking. And I went, perfect. So, yeah, I'd say try it. It's up to your own level of creativity as to how you would like to do it. But, even if you're able to swindle it to do a photo of yourself, a new press shot, how cool is it to make it move when you post it on Facebook and share it as well?
Yeah, that's rad. I mean, I know the thing I was thinking of is very old technology at this point, but I still love seeing those like panoramic views of a band's rehearsal space or whatever. Maybe it's from the stage. I think those are so cool when you can get the sort of almost 360 image of something that is in the moment of creating music.
And I want to add on that. I've actually seen a few people do some really, really fancy panoramas where someone will, let's say it's a dinner table and there's 12 people sitting there and you want to get them all in the shot. One person will start here and start moving the camera across. As this person here gets out of the shot, they run up behind, hold the camera. This person from behind the camera runs up to the end of the table, gets in the shot, and they keep going. And it looks perfect. Obviously, everybody has to pause for about 15, 20 seconds, but it is possible to get everyone in the shot if you do it the right way. So give that a shot next time you're trying to squeeze everyone in one of those rehearsal shots.
That's awesome. Someone should try to recreate the Last Supper painting like that.
That's kind of what I had in my head there.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I have? So this is a real simple thing to do. Tell your fans about the 1 cent shipping deal that CD Baby is running. So through the holiday season and beyond, we have a deal where if you get 3 or more CDs, it's only 1 cent for shipping. So whether that's all your CDs, maybe you've got 3 in your back catalog that you're trying to get people to purchase, or 1 CD that's really popular of yours that you think someone would buy 3 of to give as gifts, or even maybe like you pick 2 other artists in your genre that are on CD Baby and you make it like the ultimate indie rock CD package or something. And you recommend to your email list which CDs to pick up. Try that. So we just posted the link to details about the deal, and on that article there's also a template that you can use to quickly just cut and paste to email to your fans and just populate it with your own style and artist name and so forth, and that'll take you a minute to do. All right.
Awesome. All right. Cover videos on Facebook. Not cover photos, but cover videos. So on your Facebook page, you can actually, where you've got your cover image, you can click on the little icon and it will allow you to upload a video or use an existing video that you've uploaded to your Facebook page and have that as a cover video. So obviously, when people come to your page on Facebook, at the very top, you're hitting them straight away with a video, showing them exactly what you're about. So I've done this on my page as well. I don't know if I wasn't really planning on a shameless plug here, but facebook.com/date night music. If you go there, at the very top of the page, there's a video of us doing our rehearsal, and then it cuts to a live show. So you get a very quick idea of what we're about. Our music's playing if you have your speakers up. And it's a great way to grab people's attention, even more so than just a still image of your logo or yourself. And the same on YouTube. If you have a YouTube channel, you can have a trailer video that's no more than 1 minute long that plays the first time anybody visits your channel on YouTube. So you can let them know exactly what you're about, put your best piece of music or your best footage, and show it to everyone the first time they come to look at you.
Yeah, and Parker and Barrow Entertainment is saying, be careful with cover videos. Their size is wacky. So we have an article about kind of pimping out your Facebook page, and hopefully we can share a link here. It'll have the dimensions, the recommended dimensions for these cover videos on Facebook, as well as the duration. It can be, I think, between 20 and 90 seconds. So it might be, if you have longer videos, you might need to do a, re-edit to cut it down. But also, they're going to autoplay, but they'll be on mute when someone arrives at your page. So hopefully it's something that looks really cool and works without the sound, although they can just click the button and hear what's going on as well. And that kind of leads into something I was going to mention, which is to do a little audit on your call to action on your Facebook page, which shows up right. Are you showing us something interesting on your wall? I don't want to cut you off there.
No. I'd appreciate it if you cut away. My camera stand is just given away, and it's kind of going like this on me. So if you want to stay on camera for a second, you're good.
It's kind of the opposite of a product demonstration that's going to make anyone want to buy that thing. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, the call to action on your Facebook page, it's a little button right below that header image or that cover video area where you can say, hey, start a conversation with me in Messenger, buy my CD, sign up for my mailing list, whatever your sort of primary goal is. So go back there and make sure that it's still representative of what your main goal on Facebook is, because a lot of times we set that and 2 years go by and we forget about it. So yeah, audit your call to action button. And why I was thinking about the cover image is that you can also use that to sort of call even more attention to the call to action button. You can, if it's a still image, you can add little arrows or some visual element that gets people's eyes down. Same thing could be with a video, although, then you have to sort of edit a video, create and edit a video for that very purpose. But yeah, audit your call to action and make your profile look nice and pretty with an awesome video. All right, let me get you back in here. You're stable now. You look very stable.
I feel like my next point should be, if you have a battery-powered stand for your device and you're live streaming, make sure the battery is charged all the way.
Are you using the autos? What's that thing called?
Not for this, no. You can capture video where it follows your face and creepily follows you around the room. Fortunately, it doesn't have legs and it won't follow you outside if you run away. But
like
I'm sure
an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, exactly. So got a little distracted there. Was it my turn?
Yeah, it is now. What you got?
Right. I'll take it. So mine was do a holiday sale, a last minute gift idea. So I know we just had Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Green Monday, which I'd never even heard of until Monday. But doing a holiday sale, it's a last minute gift idea. You could potentially target people who like a certain artist, and then find their friends by friends of people who like this artist, and say, hey, we believe your friend might be a fan of this artist. Why not grab this for them? The album is only $10 right now until Christmas, and we'll make sure it gets delivered right before Christmas Day. So doing a holiday sale, there's a number of different, ways that could go, of course, but that's just one idea, is sort of targeting friends of fans of you, and letting them know that if if your friend is a fan, they may be interested in this. There's a deal. We can get it to you by Christmas. You're all set. You're off the hook till next year.
Yeah, I feel like that's a brilliant little workaround to get to your fans, is just target their friends and make that suggestion. That was, I don't know why we'd never thought of that before, but good tip. What else was I going to say? Oh, along with doing a sale is get over yourself again in terms of email marketing, and do an email announcing the sale, do another one, in the middle of it, and then definitely do like a sales ending, last minute, last chance to pick up whatever the item is on a discount. And you will see inevitably that last email will probably surprise you in terms of how it performs inevitably. And those are always the emails I feel like musicians don't want to send, because we're like, oh, we've pestered our fans already about this stuff. We're starting to sound real salesy. Just get over it. Do it. You'll sell more than you will on that first announcement and the reminder. So yeah.
Cool. Back on me.
There you are.
There we are. Excellent. So my next one is refresh your playlist artwork. So just take a look at it. A couple of things that I've noticed for playlists that don't seem to perform as well is if the title in the artwork doesn't match the actual title of the playlist. So if you're you have artwork, and on that artwork it has text that says "The Best Songs Ever" by Chris Robley, and then the title of the playlist is Chris Robley Rocks Your Christmas, then they don't match up. And I've found that playlists like that tend to be less favored when you search for them because it's not going to show the correct results. So make sure you get text that matches the name of the playlist. I avoid using emojis in the playlist name because, be honest, who has ever put an emoji into the search box in the streaming service to find a playlist? I know I've never pasted an emoji in there.
Someone who's 12 probably has.
Exactly. I mean, look, you may be catering to the few people that want to experiment, and that's cool, but just keep that in mind. As for the actual artwork itself, if you're not the most artistic person, like I'm not, there's a number of services where you can get royalty-free or stock images. But then there's also a number of online services where they'll let you create artwork for free. So, Chris, is it okay if I mention those on here as well?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Cool. So one of them is canva.com, C-A-N-V-A. So you can go on there, and they actually have templates for artwork for album releases. And, of course, that's a nice square image, the right dimensions, and that's a perfect fit for a playlist artwork as well. Another site which is really cool is replacecover.com. And when you go to this, it has a bunch of pre-created covers where you simply type in your text, and then you could just start clicking away on it and swapping the image out and also changing the colors. And so I found this is really good for creating sort of a fun, cover if you're not the most creative person, because most of the work is done for you. You just need to worry about what your playlist is called and what kind of music is on there, and it really does the rest for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I use Canva a lot for all kinds of different things, but I've even used it to design the album cover for my last 3 singles, I think. So, if you're putting out an album, maybe you hire a designer, but if you need something for, a lot of frequent releases, Canva is great. Sort of a side topic from playlist covers, but if you are doing an album cover, make sure it's 3000 by 3000 pixels in dimension. That's what we prefer to get. We can deliver smaller images, but the bigger the better.
Yeah. And Chris, can I just adding to that? If you are going to use a royalty-free image or an image that you think is very common, one thing you can do is you can go to Google image search, where you can actually upload or paste an image into the search, and it will show you the results for where else that image has been used. So if you go and paste that photo or that image in there, and you see 100,000 results, and you start scrolling and you see all of these people have released a song and used that artwork, you may reconsider that. So I've, in the past, I used to use royalty-free. Now I really challenge myself to try and go out and create my own original version of it. So if I go, oh, there's a nice photo of the ocean, I'll go out and look at my own photos and go, I took a really great photo of the ocean this day. If I use this, no one else is going to be using it. And then it's unique and it's original.
Yeah, I am exactly in that spot right now. I was going through the National Archives site to find a public domain image, and I found one I loved, and I sent it to my friend being like, does this strike you as something that has been used a lot? Like, does it seem familiar? And on top of all that, is it truly in the public domain, and would I be free to use it? And I basically looked on Google, and I am not alone. So I got to go a different direction, but that's a good tip. I have one that is sort of not really about your music promotion at all, but simply that if you have an hour or two, learn someone else's song that is maybe just seems slightly challenging. Maybe it has more chords in it than you usually are used to playing in a single song, or different kinds of chords, or strange time signature, or any way you can challenge yourself to just grow your skills as an instrumentalist or as a composer or any of that stuff, so that you can bring some of that new stuff into your own work when you start writing your next masterpiece in the beginning of 2019. So yeah, I a couple weeks ago learned probably the first 4 minutes of Bohemian Rhapsody. And man, there are like 1,000 chords in that song, but it was really good for my brain. And now I'm like, oh, I've never moved between those chords before. So file it away and I've got some new tricks to use. So yeah, learn some new songs, or at least one new song. Oh, nice. Didn't mean to put you, there we go. All right. Are we down to your last item?
We are. So my lucky last. My accent keeps switching up now. You've done that to me, Chris.
you're a switcher.
I was in Australia 2 weeks ago and I had to switch back to full Australian mode. If you don't know what that means, we'll talk off camera. But
it's a lot of F-bombs and.
Oh yeah, but we'll save that for off camera. But yes, my last point here was if you don't have a website, go out and create one. There's plenty of services out there that will let you create one for free or for a very small fee. If you do have a website, just go and do a quick check on it. Make sure that all your links to all your socials, all streaming platforms are on there. Make sure the links work. Actually click them all and open them in a new tab and actually follow them. You'd be surprised how many websites I go to for established, well-known artists with teams behind them, where I have to actually go to their team and send them an email and go, I went to your website and I clicked the YouTube link and it took me nowhere. Or even worse, it took me to another artist with a similar name that I guess took your old username. Huh. So, yeah, and it's happened. So go on there and just check your website. Just go to it and pretend that you've just discovered yourself and, start clicking those links and go, okay, I'm on the website for Chris Robley. I want to hear his music. Where is it? There's no way to play his music here. I want to find out about him. Where's his bio? Okay. I want to find him on social media. So, the best websites I've seen are the most simple ones. It's a photo. There's a music player there. There's links to all of their social media, all of the streaming platforms, all on the front page, right there in my face. And I can go to exactly where I want. And if I want to spend more time on there and click, I can.
Yeah, and I've noticed like over the past 10 years or so, a lot of bands, I mean, even a lot of bands that are doing fairly well, don't have websites. Like they think it's enough to have a Facebook page and an Instagram profile and maybe Bandcamp or, someplace to sell their music. But, obviously if they're doing all right, fine, keep going. But I have heard from a number of like talent buyers and club promoters and stuff that if you don't have an actual website that is yours, they're way less likely to book you because it's an indicator to them that you're going to be less equipped to promote the shows that you are trying to book. So yeah, don't think you're going to coast by on just a Facebook page or an Instagram profile. Have a website, as you're suggesting. And then this kind of goes into my last tip, which is when you do have a website, make sure you install your Facebook pixel on it. If you don't know what the Facebook pixel is, it's a little snippet of code that you put, I believe, in the header of your website. I'm not a techie, but you paste it in there, and then basically Facebook can get a read on all your fans who are on your website, seeing the different pages that they're on, so that when it's not just so that Facebook can surveil more people, it actually helps you. So basically what you can then do is go into your Facebook ads manager account and say, I want to target an ad to everyone who has been on my blog or this particular thank you page after they downloaded my new song or whatever. You can find the exact people who have taken specific actions on your website and then hit them up with follow-up messages, either to thank them or to get them to, go a little bit deeper down this journey with you, or maybe that they've downloaded a song, so it's time to hit them up with an ad to buy the deluxe vinyl edition or something. But you can't do any of that if you can't track them. So the Facebook pixel is a very easy way to track user activity on your website, and as well as show.co on all your show.co campaigns, or on things like Linkfire. You can put your Facebook pixel, or Google has retargeting code that functions similarly to this if you're going to do Google and YouTube ads. But yeah, it's a super simple way to track your fans' activity, which just helps you make smarter decisions when you're trying to reach them again. And as far as just getting it, you go into your ads manager account in Facebook. You can create the pixel, grab the code. If you're using like Squarespace or any of those sites, they'll have tutorials for how to install this. If you're on HostBaby, you can get in touch with us. We'll help you out. But yeah, get your pixel installed. And that is it. I think we just went through a hefty checklist.
I feel like it was more than 20, and I'm okay with that.
That's all right. It's bonus. It's Christmas season. It's a time of giving.
That's it. We're getting a few little bonuses there.
I know you have to run in 5 minutes. Do you have like a couple minutes to just look through the comments and see if we can?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me jump in here.
Let's see. Julietta, hi from Italy. Hello from Maine. Matt Burke, are we going to share these tips summarized somewhere? Yes, I will there's already a blog article on the DIY Musician blog for this broadcast, and I'm going to just update it with a summary of these tips. And I'll also post this video at the top of that article as well, if you want to go back and watch.
Wow, there's a lot of comments in here. I have to be honest, I wasn't looking because I didn't want to get distracted. And let's see.
Katie wants to know, should she register her music copyright before or after she releases it? This is the thing I think a lot of people get hung up on, and they delay putting out their music because I would say whenever you can do it is good, as soon as you can do it, but don't be like panicky and paranoid and worried about whatever you're worried about. If it's the type of thing where you don't have time to do it and you want to get your music out, that's fine. Put the music out. Just register your copyright as soon as you can. Technically, you own your copyright as soon as your music is fixed in, a fixed format, whether it's written down on paper or on a disc or whatever. So you own your copyright, but you want to just register that as soon as you can. But either way is fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not actually. I'm still frantically scrolling here to try and. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're good unless you're seeing anything, but.
No, I'm just having a look. Actually, I just stopped on one from Matt Denton, just going back to tax time and receipts. And he was saying that one way that Matt organizes receipts is by creating new email subfolders for each business-related purchase. So if you want to organize it in email in folders, or if you use a service like Dropbox or iCloud Drive, where you just put the receipts in there. What I like to do, just adding to what Matt suggested, is I will do January 2018, February 2018. So at least it's broken up by month. So that way, if I only have a small amount of time, I can go back and review January. And then next time I come back, I start at February, and then I eventually get it all done. So blocking it in little chunks like that, so splitting it into 12 different pieces for each month of the year might help you to get through it quicker, because you could do one per day, for example, as well. There's a lot of comments about the stash, which
this is clearly the most important thing about this broadcast, I will say.
I know. I actually, when we did a test for this yesterday and I saw it, I was kind of embarrassed. So
you're embarrassed for me.
What? I'm just going to go shave and go clean today and make it look like I haven't slept in a while, and go with that look instead, because I can't compete with that, man.
No one can compete with this.
No.
Well, man, I know you have to leave in like less than a minute, so I just want to say thank you for spending some time with us. I'm going to stay on here for just a couple more minutes. I have a couple news items to announce, and but hopefully we can have you back on next year. And
I'd love to.
Yeah, have a great holiday.
Excellent, and thank you, Chris, and thank you to the entire CD Baby team for what you do for artists, and for giving people like myself an opportunity to speak. I'm very grateful. So thank you for everything you've done this year.
Oh, well, thanks for coming along with us.
Of course.
Cool.
Happy holidays, everyone.
All right, I'll see you, and I'm gonna just hang out here for a second. Um, what am I going to announce? The DIY Musician Conference is happening in 2019, and it's moving. It moved from Nashville to Austin, Texas, which I'm excited about. I haven't been to Austin in a really long time. It's happening in August, and if you go to DIYmusiciancon.com, you'll see all the details. I think we're still on the early bird ticket price situation. If not, the next tier up is super affordable as well. And even if you wait to the last minute, which you should not do, it's still going to be super affordable because our main goal is to try to make this as valuable a conference as we can, but keep the prices very realistic for artists because, we know you are spending money to record and promote. And, let me get Michael back in here because there's something very important happening. Oh, wait, are you leaving now? There he is. Oh, did that come with your new house?
Yeah, of course.
It's adorable.
Yeah, she's a little camera shy.
Me too. So, so DIY Musician Conference, it is the highlight of my year, I think of everyone that works at CD Baby. We love hanging out with the artists that we are serving and hearing from them and seeing what you're doing. And it is 3 days of just like super actionable career advice, and all of the speakers that we get are very approachable. We make sure they know that we want them to be there for the duration of the weekend, to be very accessible, as well as the brands that have come on to sponsor us in the past. It's been Spotify and YouTube and Pandora and Berklee College of Music, a whole bunch of really great music brands. And their representatives are there, and they're accessible. They want to talk to you. They want to answer your questions. So please check that out. If you're in Europe and you might not want to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, we have a conference that's happening in Valencia, Spain in April. I'm not quite sure. I don't think the site has launched yet for tickets, but it is definitely happening. I believe it's the 7th to the 9th, something like that. We'll get you details soon. But that conference is a little bit smaller scale. It's a little bit shorter, and the days are somewhat truncated. There aren't as many showcasing opportunities. But on the flip side, that means that the people that are there from CD Baby actually have a little bit more time to kind of meet and hang out with you and get to know you, which was sort of a highlight from my time in Valencia last year. I felt a little bit more, a little bit more involved in the community there, whereas in Nashville and Chicago and in Austin, we're going to be running around like crazy between 5 million different things. But so if you're in Europe, please check out the DIY Musician Conference EU. And I'm not sure what else I've got for news, but yeah, I hope to be doing more of these next year, and I hope you have a great holiday season. If you do have some downtime, go through this checklist and try to get at least a few of these things done. And if you get all of them done, send me an email or leave a comment on the blog, and you'll get some kind of special karmic points from me, which are, you'll be able to spend them somehow. All right. Well, thanks again. And if anyone asks questions that we didn't get to already, I'll take a look through the comments and try and leave a comment in response. So thanks again. And thanks to Mike Warner for hanging out with us. You should all check out his playlist, Empire Work Hard, Playlist Hard, as well as his, he's a music biz consultant now for artists. So, you know what? He's still here. You're very dedicated. I thought he had a meeting to go to. Wait, hold it up again.
Oh, there you go. Just, yeah, sure.
Yeah, do a plug.
Not really much to show, but I mean, I guess we can get in a shameless plug for the ebook as well, right?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so the Work Hard, Playlist Hard ebook, CD Baby will post a special link in the comments shortly. But if anybody's interested, just shout out in the comments and we'll get that link to you. And I'd love you to check it out.
Cool. Well, you're still on here, so I'm going to hit the end broadcast and we can both be on to say goodbye.
No, you hang up.
I'll hang up.
All right.
Yeah, you got the floor. Do something really interesting. Ready?